few weeks ago, the Australian Armour and Artillery Museum took delivery of the Stug 3F.
Left hand.
It was lovingly restored by Bushmacau Restorations in the Czech Republic. He couldn't source the original muzzle brake, but luckily we had a spare one in the workshop, and Glenn was able to fabricate this locking collar. We asked if Jason, our assistant manager at the museum, if he could give us some insights into some of this Stug F's history and features.
This is our latest acquisition into the museum, the Sturmgeschütz 3 Ausführung F. So this is what we believe to be the last known surviving F variant in the world. So this vehicle here was part of Stug Abteilung 244. This fought around Stalingrad from November 42 through to February 43, before this battalion and most of the 6th Army were destroyed. So the F with this is where a lot of things start to change. So we've got some things that stop on this vehicle, then go to F8 and then continue into G. Notably on the front and rear, we have our externally fixed tow points. So from F8 onwards, along with Panthers and Tigers and Panzer IVs, we've seen an extension of the side plate that come out with the towing hook actually made into the side plate as well. So it gives a lot more strength as well, rather than something that's been bolted on. The front of the vehicle itself, we're looking at an extra 30 millimetres of armour plate being put on. So now we're looking at about the 80 millimetre mark protection. Obviously from when we get into the G variant, it's a one solid plate rather than having extra plates welded on as well. A lot of the terminology for tanks come from ships. So we'll see turrets, sponson. Sponson is an extra sort of side area or an area on a tank or a ship that you can fit items in. So we see on the F here, it's a very short sponson, where when we go to G, we see that the length of the sponson actually increases to the front of the vehicle as well. So we have a much wider sponson on both sides. But in saying that, with the whole casemate itself, we can see in this portion here, it actually angles out. So the measurements between the F and the G in the turret size from the top portion, from the back to the front, is an extra 45 millimetres longer than the G, where the G has a nice flat rear, but the internal measurements from the base right through the driver's compartment is the exact same measurements. The Stug F saw the change of armaments. They went from the STK-37 L24 to the STK-40 L43. So this is a big change in length of the gun. So what we've essentially done is gone from a infantry support weapon to now a sort of a more anti-tank weapon, because now we've got much more penetrating power. So at 1,000 metres, this could roughly penetrate about 83 millimetres of armour. With the new gun that they've brought in, they've also brought in new ammunition as well. Now, because we have longer rounds, we've got more propellant, so we've got a lot more gases that do come back into the cabin. So on top of the roof is actually a ventilator dome. So obviously we're firing a lot of rounds inside. You get a lot of the gases that still come back in through once the breech is open. So the ventilator dome takes all those gases out, just like an exhaust system. So we just got the hatches, the small flat opening hatches, and obviously we've got the hole in this one here where your sighting system could come up through the roof as well. It's just a really good exhibit to have in the museum, along with the Stug A, which is the only known A in the world as well. So to have a lot of these one-offs in this museum in Australia, it's absolutely fantastic.
If you enjoy these little Friday updates, let us know in the comments and tell us what you'd like to see next.